Hi guys, Miss Valero here. So I assume if you're watching this video, it's on the skills practice, first three problems in the textbook. I assume if you're watching this that you have attempted to do those problems, and now we're going to go over how to do those. So I'm going to share a screen with you. Okay, so here you can see that we are calculating the volume of pyramids, and pyramids are those three-dimensional shapes that come to a point. For number one, it says the given figure is a square pyramid. The side length of the base of the pyramid is 5 inches. The height of the pyramid is 3.3 inches. What's the volume of the pyramid? So let's just review the formula for how to find volume of a pyramid. The formula for both of these, since they're both pyramids, is going to be capital V for volume, and then we're going to put REC for rectangular, which is the same as a square pyramid. The square pyramid is a rectangle. So we can just use the same formula for volume of rectangular pyramid. And I'm going to abbreviate pyramid is actually equal to the 1/3 the area of the base, which is capital B, times the height. And the reason we take 1/3 and multiply it by the area of the base times height is because you need to start with the area of whatever the base is. And in this case, we have the base is a square, so it's the length times the width. When you multiply those together, you get the amount of space that this takes up. So we know that the side length is 5 inches. So if this side's 5 inches and it's a square, then this side must also be 5 inches because squares have all sides the same length. And that would be capital B for area of the base. And then you have to take into consideration the height because you're finding volume, and volume is how much space an object takes up or how much will fill up this shape, the inside, how much would fill in the inside. So if you took the area of the base and you went straight up with the sides to the height, you would actually have a prism. In this case, it's coming to a point, but it is going straight up from the center of this square base at a height of 3.3 inches. So I'm just going to add that to my picture, 3.3 inches straight up. That would be signify the height. So once you take the base and you raise it up, it would be as if you were raising this straight up and it would fill an entire space. But since it's coming to a point, and we did in that demonstration, you watched the demonstration video and how that works, because it comes to a point, is actually holds 1/3 the size. I'm just going to erase these because we are coming to that point. Okay, that's good enough. So now let's do the math. We are going to start with the area of the base, and the base is 5 by 5, which is the same as saying 5 squared. We will multiply that. And then we will multiply it by the height, which we know is 3.3. And I'm going to use parentheses to show multiplication because we do have a decimal. And then we are going to divide that by 3, which is the same as multiplying by 1/3, or you could write it as dividing by 3. I like to divide by 3 last, so I'm going to put that here. But again, you can see the equation for volume of rectangular pyramid written as 1/3 capital B times H, where the capital B is the area of the base. Okay, and if you're not too familiar with this formula and you don't think you have it yet, then I would recommend you listen again and go through those steps and how to write the formula so that you understand how the formula works. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the math on this. You can use your calculator, of course. So we have 5 squared, which is, of course, 25 for the area of the base. And then you're going to multiply that by the height, which is 3.3. And it's always good to write out each and every step when showing your work so you don't forget any steps and it's clear. And then you will, after you multiply those, you will divide by 3. And you should have your volume. So let's do this. 25 times 3.3, and you're going to want to hit enter, the enter button before you divide. Enter divided by 3 is equal to 27.5. Okay, now your problem is never complete until you have a unit on there. And so we're going to go back and look at our units, and we know we're working in inches. So we're going to put IN for inches abbreviation. And then we need to make sure we don't forget that it's cubic inches, because we took the 3 parts and multiplied them together. We multiplied the length of the base times the width of the base times the height of the base before we divided by 3. So we have those 3 units, length times width times height, which makes our inches cubic inches. If you're doing area, it would just be inches squared. Okay, so that would be the answer to the first one. I'll run through this one a little bit quicker than we did the first one. Hopefully you got correct answer of 27.5. So in this one, you buy a spinning top for your younger cousin. The spinning top is a square pyramid. So again, we have both the length and the width the same length. If it wasn't square, it was just a rectangle, you would still multiply the length times the width. So it's 32 millimeters. So this side is 32 millimeters and the other side is 32 millimeters. And then we have the height, which is also 32 millimeters. Well, it looks like we have all 3 the same amount. And since we're multiplying them all together, we can actually do this in a quicker way. We could take 32 millimeters and actually cube that, because that's length times width times height. And when they're all the same, you can just go ahead and cube 32. And then you would divide that, of course, by 3 or multiply by 1/3. Let's do that in your calculator. 32, and you would multiply that by 32 and multiply that by 32, or you could just use the x to the power, raised to the power to the 3rd power button. So that would be 32,768. And then you would divide that by 3. You would have to hit enter, of course, and then divide by 3. And we have 10922, and then it's 0.6 repeating. So I like to use a fraction. 0.6 repeating is the same as 2/3. It was 10,922 and 2/3 millimeters cubed, or 0.6 repeating. Hopefully you got that same answer. Let's look at number 3. Here we have another square pyramid, and we know that the length side of the base is 6.6. So here is 6.6 feet. That would make this also 6.6 feet. And we need to start with the area of the base, because we're going to fill it up from there. So for volume, we're going to start with the area of the base, which is 6.6 squared. And then once we figure out what that is, we are going to multiply it by the height. Oops. And the height is 12.672 feet. 12.672 feet for the height. Okay, and then we would need to divide by 3 because it is a pyramid. If it was a prism, we would be done at that point. But since it does come to a point, we're going to multiply by 1/3 or divide by 3. Okay, so let's do 6.6 squared, which is 43.56. 43.56 times 12.672. I'm going to use parentheses because we have the decimal. Sorry, it's hard to write on here. And then we'll divide by 3. So you have 43.56 in your calculator. You will then multiply that by 12.672 and hit your enter key. And then when you divide that by 3, which is the same as multiplying by 1/3, we have what comes in our calculator as 183.99744 feet cubed, of course, because there's volume's in cubic units, which I guess you could say is approximately 184 feet cubed. Okay, if you need more practice on those, you go ahead and try numbers 4, 5, and 6, which have the square pyramids as well. Thank you for joining.